Who designs like what the shot's gonna do?
Director.
Okay. We'll have this conversation on camera.
You're on a movie podcast.
Dude, all I do is fan theories, okay?
It's a classic movie podcast.
Yes.
We don't care about that back then.
I'm like, hey, did you know that this guy was in 3 Ninjas? Well, welcome everyone to a very special episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. We normally choose a classic movie from the 80s, 90s, or 2000s and review it scene by scene with a modern eye to see if it still holds up, but not today. We just left the movie theater. We sat in silence so that we would not talk until we got here. And we want to give you a spoiler-free review of Bert Kreischer's new movie, The Machine. You don't want to miss what we got to say. Stick around. My name is Mike Schulte. Joining me as always, Sean Pryor and AJ Venz. How the heck are you on this late Thursday night?
It was a quiet car ride.
It was very quiet.
We were forcing ourselves. Mike asked me about the chicken sandwich that I had in the theater. That's how stale the conversation was.
Was the chicken sandwich at all stale?
It was good.
Okay, good.
It was good.
Okay. So that car, man. That's about it. That's how the car ride went.
Yes.
Well, here's what we want to do. This is going to be spoiler-free for a little while. So if you have not seen it yet, we are going to talk about it spoiler-free, but then we are going to hit a point where we're going to say, this is for the people that have seen it. It's time to turn it off. It's time to turn it off. We will let you know over and over when we get there. And there is one important detail I think we must talk about before we dive into this movie review. Bert Kreischer is a friend of ours. You know, like he had us over to his house.
Yeah.
Basically,
he's been to our
pad.
We went to LA, recorded an episode of Bertcast back in October 22. It's Bertcast episode number 542. Go listen. Give it a watch if you're new to this podcast. Also, Bert came on our show in February. We reviewed Caddyshack scene by scene. It was hilarious.
Super
Check
fun.
that out. But when he was on his show, he announced The Machine. The trailer had come out like that day.
Yeah.
And he said, you guys got to go and you got to review. And then he looked at us deep in our eyes and he said, and you be fucking honest. You do not. You're honest in every review you do. You trash classic movies from time to time because you're honest and that's your opinion. He said, when you review The Machine, be as honest as you possibly can. And so we owe it to Bert to not only tell you guys that we do think he's great, but we are going to not hold back on this review. This will be an honest review.
I promise.
We promised him we'd do this.
Yeah.
If it's bad, I'm going to tell you. That's what's going to happen.
I know that's what Sean will do. I know it's what he will do. So yeah,
we just at least need to point that out. But let's start with our spoiler-free review. We just left the theater. What are the overall thoughts of this?
So I mean, like we kind of did before this, going in, not having many expectations except it being an action comedy. And I'll say right off the bat is that's what we got really. Was a balls-out action comedy, very sleek looking, like not cheaply made at all. Legendary Pictures does, amazing movies. And yeah, the director Peter Tanzio, who did Keanu for Key and Peele, I love that movie. That one's great. So I think the direction's great. But yeah, overall, I mean, the story is kind of it's what it is. It's Bert Kreischer's kind of life story, but if it came back to haunt him, and I think that angle was really cool to see. I didn't know that's what it was going to be. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
I had major fears of this being overhyped. My wife's 70-year-old to 80-year-old parents were like, "Have you heard of Bert Kreischer? He was on The Voice, and they showed a commercial, and they said, oh, he's got this new movie." I was like, Jesus, this movie felt like it was just everywhere.
Yeah,
like you saw it everywhere, and so I felt like going into this like I did watching The Hangover. I was a huge Zach Galifianakis fan where the world hadn't caught on to him yet, so I knew it was going to be good, and I was just. feeling that way about this movie, going, hey, like the whole world's gonna know about Bert Kreischer now, and like I hope it holds up. And here's the crazy: you said action comedy. We knew that. What I didn't realize was that it was also going to be very like heartfelt. Mm-hmm. There are some moments in this movie that like truly do kind of tug at you in typical Bert fashion. So we went on opening night, and he did like a live stream where 30 minutes before we got to watch him from the premiere, like thanking people. Like chokes me up. He was like full blown tears thinking about all the hard work that he did to get to this point in his entire life, thanking everybody, like full blown tears. I mean, like I feel bad that I didn't expect heartwarming from Bert, and of course we got it in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely did. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I always get nervous because it's like when a friend asks you to like, oh, you should come see my band, or you should listen to this thing I did, or like when you see a friend on stage and you know somebody, or you know somebody you know on stage, it's different than not knowing them. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay, so that feeling, I was nervous about that feeling. I was like, well, we've hung around him in different settings and whatnot, and so I was a little bit nervous about that, and I wasn't bothered at all.
Yeah.
I really do feel like we got this really well laid out, well plotted action comedy flick. And I did. Like, there's a couple moments I was like, this isn't fair. I wasn't supposed to feel this right now. And then, in true Bert fashion, it's a good slap on the face to bring you back.
Bring you back out. That's perfect.
Yeah. So no, it's
Sean,
very much so.
What did you think about, like, I was almost completely like gasping in awe at some of the transitions how they weave. So this isn't spoiling it. They're weaving the story of the machine, and in the past, like they retell that and they shoot it with what's happening now, and they're in the same places, and the camera will like spin around like a oneer almost, but now we're in the future. Mm-hmm. I thought that was absolutely beautiful.
It was cool the way they did that. It's a cool like sort of story kind of pitch for that. It's a cool anchor for the film. I thought like seeing the trailer, it was going to be like this section is the past, and that they were gonna hit that maybe quick or something like that. But no, it's kind of throughout the film where the he's telling the story about the machine, him robbing the train and everything, to the characters that we're seeing in real time, and they're going back, like you said, with these cool transitions, like spinning around and like going seamlessly into the past or out of the past into the present. Also, there's like just non sequitur transitions like that as well, where like an airplane, you can see the jet stream, and then it cuts into or seamlessly like transitions into someone doing a line of coke
seamlessly.
That is directed. That's not like, oh, this might be cool. Like they found that in the editing room. No, they read the script and like, that would be cool. Let's make sure we shoot that exactly right so we can do that. Like that is a cool direction. It reminded me a lot of my favorite transition of all time in Stoker, where it's just like someone's combing someone's hair and it transitions into like a field of grass. It's like perfect, and it's really, I don't even really know how you do it. It's just very seamless, but it's great directing.
We spend so much time watching old movies. It makes me wonder if I just really haven't spent enough time watching new movies.
That's very true.
To be like almost in a little bit of shock, and there we go. I didn't want it to be like this idea of I don't want it to sound bad, but like that is something I didn't expect to come out of this movie, was these types of transitions and these types of like the way that they plotted it out, the way that they tied in the past. Like you said, I thought it was going to be very cut and dry, and it's very well blended together. There's one shot in particular where it comes back around, and I think it's him. It's his younger self, Jimmy Tatro, who's looking at the watch before before anything happens or whatnot, and he's looking at this item, and the main girl comes in right behind him. from the future or
Right.
from the current day. So past Bert, and then present day girl.
Yeah.
It's very cool stuff.
And I thought the action, like I was a little concerned about like, this is a funny comedy movie, it's going to be really fun. Sometimes action can really get left. It's both action can really get left behind and become like not that great in a comedy movie. And in an action movie, comedy can kind of be left. I thought these were perfectly put together. Like even Bert, some of the stunts he did, extremely believable. So Eva Babich plays Irina in the movie. She's absolute badass.
Yeah, she's
in my
great.
opinion. She was so good at the stunts, at the acting. Like I loved it.
Yeah, I want to talk about the cast a little bit besides Bert because he's obviously the star of the show. But the like Mark Hamill and Jimmy Tatro. What do you guys think of their performances and how they filled out the cast?
Can I be honest about Mark Hamill? So I love Mark Hamill in Star Wars. Then he came back around. The last time I've seen him in anything was like one of the newer Star Wars, and I was like, "Give it up, Mark. This is." I was like, "You are literally here for a paycheck. I hate this." That's how I felt about Mark Hamill.
I saw him in a movie called like Sushi Girl, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun. It's like a movie about a gang of people, and it's whatever." But it was just like, "Oh no!"
Right. But in this, I'm gonna totally take that back. Like I thought he was awesome in this movie. Like some of the things he says in this movie, you would never think you'd hear Mark Hamill say. I guess, in my opinion, I thought he was great.
I guess the last time I really think of him outside of Star Wars was Jay and Silent Bob.
Okay,
Forgot about that.
Or whatever his name was in that. So like I knew Mark Hamill had like comedic chops. You know what I mean? I really did. Like I knew that going into this and everything. It's always tough though when you have that one of those iconic folks that drops into a movie and you're like, okay, let's see. And I was excited about I ended up almost right away when he comes into the story. I was in. I was like, oh, this is great. They've got a great back and forth.
Jimmy Tatro as well as an actor that I really like. I want to see him.
He
more
plays
in
young
movies.
Bert.
He plays young Bert.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him more in movies. I've only seen him in that Netflix mockumentary series American Vandal, which if you haven't checked it out, it's amazing. It's so funny. He's really good in it. And then another movie called The Wolf of Snow Hollow, which is a small bit part in the beginning of that. But every time I see him pop up on screen, I really like it. And I think he gets the most screen time that I've ever seen him get in a movie, for sure, in The Machine. And I thought he was really good. I thought he really held his own as this outgoing party goer that Bert is. What do you guys think about him?
I have to admit that I was a little worried about them telling. We all know this story of the machine, and we've all pictured it in our heads. We've never seen a visual of this. We've only seen what we believe. It's like taking Lord of the Rings, and you read the books your entire life, and now they're making a movie out of it. It's a testament to what they did, because now when I hear that joke, I will see Jimmy Tetro, and I will see the scenes that they recreated here. I think they did a perfect job of making those scenes that I've already seen in my head come to life. And even the lines, like, oh, they're gonna say the same lines that he says in the joke. It worked. It was totally awesome. Yeah.
I every time you saw like little things. Now, unfortunately, I had somebody. So I was sitting next to Mike, and on the other side, there was definitely a Bert fan sitting next to me because he was making comments. Because in the beginning, you'll see that it's based on the comedy of Bert Kreischer.
Yes.
Right? Based on the comedy of Bert Kreischer. Meaning they've worked in other jokes that he's said in his comedy bits. And this guy is sitting there, and he's like kind of saying, he's going to put it in his pocket. He's gonna do this. And he's like, I told you. And I'm like,
I don't know who's listening, but I told you.
All right, well, thanks, guy. Thanks for telling me ahead of time. But they did a great job. Like, he's told this story 100 times. You know, how many times? I guess at this point, if you haven't heard that story, but you're going to see the movie, like he says, oh, the bread and the cheese or something like that, right? And it's like they brought those in very easily, and they didn't make it. They didn't make it too obvious. They didn't bash you over the head with it.
Right.
They let the story unfold. They didn't bash you over the head with the story.
As far as the machine story goes, I would say that the bar cart like set was exactly what I pictured.
Yes.
In my head.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh my god!
I
Like,
know
it's
what happens
like
now.
kind of a darker kind of tone to it, and just like one bar in the back, and just like very kind of one neon light lighting the whole thing. It was like that's exactly what I picture in my mind.
Is it this perfect blend of this? It's just this great blend of like, it's like seeing a movie that you've already. It's like seeing a movie for a second or third time, but this time it's like the director's cut. Or something,
my God.
Or you get like they added in a little extra bit that shocks you or surprises you. That's kind of what it felt like.
Because like we've seen this movie, right?
It's like you've seen it before, but then he surprises you by adding bits in.
Yeah, that's
it's
kind of
fun.
cool.
It's
Cool
fun.
way to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's some spoiler stuff we do want to talk about. So before we get to that, let's tell people if you truly loved this movie and if you think that they should go see it or not. Because a lot of people might be listening thinking, should I go see this movie? I want to know your overall thoughts on the movie, and then we'll go into some spoilers and talk about stuff for the people who've seen it.
I think as far as what it is, kind of a niche, not a niche comedian. He's like one of the biggest comedians in the world. But this sort of niche story that I guess not a lot of people know about. I guess that's what he's known for. But as an action comedy based off of that bit from him, it's exactly what you're thinking it's gonna be, probably. I think it's very well made. I think it's very well put together. I think it's well acted. In certain parts, sometimes even Jimmy Tetra, I'm just like, okay, I don't know, here and there. I would say that it's maybe a little bit too long. There's some shots for me that that go on a little further than I want them to. I think maybe you could cut out 10, 15 minutes of this movie and you'd be just fine. Other than that, I think that it's a very, very fun movie to watch, and especially if you're a fan of Bert. I don't know why you haven't seen it yet. I don't know why you weren't there on the live screening kind of thing that we did. But if you're just maybe a passerby fan of Bert and looking to see what this movie is, it's definitely fucking watchable. Yes. Go watch this movie. It's fun. Pay your money and go see this movie. As far as is my favorite movie of all time, no. I'll probably watch it again here and there. But it's a few pacing issues for me. But other than that, I think I really liked it.
Yeah. What about you, AJ?
I think I'm kind of right in the same pocket. There's maybe some things, I guess, but overall, when you talk about the quality, the quality of like what this cast does all together, with obviously some great comedic writing and what it's based on, there's never any shortage of just like a good joke. I bet there's 100 jokes in that movie that went right over even audiences' heads.
Yep.
Because it was so well. It was very good. It was very well timed, I think, comedically. That being said, I think probably was maybe a little bit long. But there are action moments that I was absolutely stoked on. Especially from Eva Babich.
Yeah.
100%. And that scene, there's a couple scenes that I think we'll probably talk about here during the train, near the end of the train, that are mind-blowing and I think are beautiful. So the way that this movie is put together and the cast and comedy and how much good action you get out of it, you should go see this movie. This is absolutely worth going to see in theaters.
Yep.
Go see it in theaters. It's a wonderful experience.
This is a Top Gun Maverick. This is a movie that is intended to get you back to the theater.
Yeah.
Our producer Logan hadn't been in the theater in 3 years, and this was his first time being back. So this is a movie you 100% go to the theater, bring a big group of people, stop and get a beer beforehand, see it on the big screen. I loved it. Like there was a couple parts where I actually shed away some tears, like because of the heartfeltness of it. There was a couple moments where I was on the edge of my seat, just being like, oh, even the parts we already saw in the trailer hit. Like they hit again on the screen, and sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you're like, I saw that in the trailer. I loved it. Like it's not. it's not going to probably win an Oscar or anything like that, and I don't think anyone thought it would. But is this 100% a movie you should go see and you should probably watch it again? 100%.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I want to make a quick note about the pacing that I mentioned. I felt like there wasn't still a moment. We talked about this before on the show. There wasn't a moment where I felt like I needed to check my watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did feel like each scene, not scene. What am I trying to say? Each part of the movie, basically as it went on, got better and better. I was like more and more invested. I think
the movie did
paced
kind of
well.
go on a ride like this. Like it never.
Yeah,
there wasn't that middle of the movie letdown. Sometimes they're like, okay, like the run pee time is going to be the beginning. It's like go pee in the beginning. You'll be fine because the movie's going to go on a ride from there.
Great point. Yeah.
Well, if you haven't seen the movie, now's your time to stop. We are going to hit a couple spoilers here. If you've seen it, join us for the ride. Let's talk about some stuff. Again, spoiler free has been stripped away.
Spoilers now.
This is spoilers now. Hey. Spoilers.
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 Hey.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
You guys say it.
Oh my God. Warning. Spoilers.
All right. So as much as Bert kind of to the lead up to this was advertising on his Instagram and showed his ass, I don't know how many times.
Yes.
He didn't show his ass once
Not
in
once.
this movie.
Not once. How does he get away with that? And we can't
What's
have
going on, Bert? Get your ass in there.
Get your ass in there. Come on, man.
Get your ass in there.
Spoilers.
Yeah, and he even said on our Caddyshack episode that they forgot to put in tits.
Yeah.
He's like, we just fucking forgot.
There's plenty of opportunity.
There was so many opportunities. Oh my God. I like some of the inside jokes that were done, like the fact that his actual wife Leanne was in the movie.
Yeah, that's
was
funny.
very, very funny that she's sitting there and newly divorced and her.
Yeah.
I also love. I'm sure you picked up on it, but the Tom is fat graffiti.
Oh God, dude, I lost it. I like so. You started giggling, and then I was like,
What's he laughing
I was
at?
like, this is kind of serious. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, there it is.
He even says at the end, he goes, my big fat friend Tom.
Me and my fat friend Tom.
That's like me making a movie and like having like a little Easter egg in the corner somewhere saying like death to cover bands or something.
Pop punk sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
There is something that should be mentioned. I don't know if you'll ever see this or not. If you weren't, I guess now that you're listening, you were at the live stream. That fucking when Tom walked up when he was playing beer pong before the show.
Oh, yeah.
And Bert was like in tears.
Yeah.
Well, like made me just wipe away my tears and appreciate like the friendship that those two guys have.
Definitely. Yeah. So I mean, as far as that goes, for me, the whole the experience was really cool. I've never seen a movie like do that before, like an intro like that. Like I've been to a Fandango event or whatever, whatever event that they have for movies kind of like this, for Rob Zombie, and he did like an introduction, and then like afterward did like this is how we made some of the scenes. It was like 5
But it
minutes.
was pre-recorded.
It was all
right?
pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So this was all. I mean, not all of it was live, but his introduction was definitely live. Which was really cool to see, and it felt exclusive. It
totally did.
felt really inclusive. But I would also really like to watch this movie again without that, because of the pacing issues that I have with it. I don't know if that
It added an extra 30 minutes.
I don't know if
to
that
the,
affected it for me.
That's a good point.
But overall, I think that was a really cool idea.
favorite scene. What do you got? I'll tell you if you need to think about it.
I'll tell you.
You go ahead.
I'll tell you what your
go
favorite
ahead.
scene is.
You can tell me.
I think the best scene of this movie was when Irina shoots her dad, and everyone's just going, "Oh my God!" And she turns around. Did I do that?
Did I do that?
Fucking did not see that coming at all. What a badass! Like I fucking love that.
My favorite scene in the movie is when the fake Igor on the drink cart
Yes.
gets his throat slit,
Yes.
and he's like, "Okay, I guess I'll defend myself and punch you." He punches him, and his fist goes directly all the way in his throat. I'm like, "Oh my God!" I've
Mark
never
Hamill's
seen.
like, it's like a cookie jar. You gotta
It's like
let
a
go.
pickle jar. You gotta let go of the pickle. It's like
What
there's
are
not
you
a
talking
fucking
about?
pickle.
I fucking love. I've seen so many like splat stick gore movies like that. I've never seen that in any movie ever, and I was so excited. That's kind of, and that was like a funny, violent scene.
Yeah. It's funny and violent all at the same time. That's what this whole movie
I want
was.
to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to hear your favorite scene.
Well, for some reason, the one that sticks out to me the most is actually when what's her name in the movie? Irina gets shot. And falls off the train. And then it's that shot of Mark Hamill pushing Bert off.
Yeah.
And that shot of out the door of the train, that red forest,
Soviet red kind of thing.
Think
like,
for some reason, that with the music playing and everything, and then Bert going off after that, and then it's just showing that red. For some reason, that felt very A24 to me. And I was like, man, that's like really well put together. Really well put together. And so I think that right there was definitely enough of a twist for me to be like, I don't know what's gonna happen next.
I like the whole Igor sequence.
Igor was fucking awesome.
When they go to his little village, I like that sequence a lot as well. But as far as like the violence in the comedy goes, I thought the fish out of water aspect for Bert was really fun. I think that he played that. I think that's where he shines the best as an actor, is when he's like reacting to craziness. And I wholeheartedly believe it, and it's fucking hilarious to me. Imagine like your fist goes into somebody and it's like how you would react. You have no idea. I don't know how Bert would react, but now I do, you know? Like it was the best part of the movie for me, was seeing him react to those kind of sequences. But then, later he gets comfortable with it. He's like, especially when he does kill his first person. It's like, well, I just killed him. Like it's so fucking funny, that reaction.
I really do think one thing that almost bothered me was I kept thinking, like, is this pulling me out of the movie? And then I just thought about it again, like Bert's reactions and the way he was doing it. I was like, no, it absolutely doesn't. This is exactly how people would react.
Yes.
This is exactly how I'd react. And I'd be laughing, cackling about somebody saying, I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you. It's like, I don't think you are. It's like, I would totally say that to somebody. It's like, no, you're not.
I finally feel safe to talk to you because you are a giant man.
I'm kind of a badass now after all I've been through. So
exactly.
Dude, that's a really good point. Like it's sort of Shaun of the Dead for me. Where, in every zombie movie, the first sign of a zombie, everybody's like, oh no, it's a zombie. But in Shaun of the Dead, they're like, he's so drunk. He's so fucking drunk. Because that's how we would really, truly, there's no such thing as zombies. So we'd be like, what the fuck's the matter with that person?
Yeah.
The guy walks in, he's got an arm off. It's like, who reacts like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I thought, I'll tell you what, there was a moment there I was talking about, like, kind of getting choked up a little bit when he's in the forest sitting on the log with younger Bert. That's for me where Bert shines, is these true to him like self-affirmations where he's like, dude, like fucking this train like is gonna change your world. Like the machine store is gonna change. It's gonna give you everything you ever wanted. You're gonna get married to she's fit. Well, she's okay. She's pretty hot. She's 50.
Yeah.
You married a 50-year-old. Like before it gets into the comedy aspect of that, like he truly is talking to his younger self, being like, dude, this whole thing's got to feel like a Truman Show to Bert. Like his rise and him doing a full-length feature film and everything that he's accomplished has to feel like he's on the Truman Show. Like, is this real? And I think you see that in those moments in the movie where he's just acting that way and just being like, dude, fuck, life's awesome.
When he told us a story, I think it was when he was here for Caddyshack, that he wasn't going to drink during the making of this.
That's right.
And the producer for Legendary is like, no. Like, you're making a movie. You might not ever get to do this again, drink and party your ass off and have fun. I like that a lot because I imagine being on set, like even on that scene right there with Jimmy Tatro, or just like, I'm making a movie. I'm not just making a movie about a portion of my life. That's gotta be really, really crazy.
I do really appreciate the message I got from it, which I hope is the message that everyone gets from it. But this idea of, the conflict of him saying, I was just this party guy and I just do whatever the hell I want and it's selfish and I do all, whatever it is. But then realizing that that by being himself and true to himself and partying, and this is what he does and what makes him happy and entertaining people and all that stuff it's actually what kept a lot of people safe. It's what did the right thing in the end.
Doing the wrong thing was the right thing.
What appears to be the wrong thing, like the wrong societal thing to do, actually is exactly what he needed to do for the people around him. I think that's a really good message, actually.
Prop from the movie, if you got one.
I'm taking the vodka bottle.
Damn, that's what I wanted.
Well, there's plenty of them.
Okay, so we can each have our own.
We can have our own.
That something needs to be done there. Like they have to.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure he's already got something figured out.
You have to. Bert, get on it.
Bert,
Popeye.
Machine vodka. Everyone will drink it.
Yeah. You should, I would have drank it during the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Should have come with your ticket. Just a bottle
exactly.
a shot of Bert Machine vodka.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love the random stuff like the Family Matters stuff that they were putting in there like for no reason at all. The village going, if we found a whore, that village lady made me laugh out loud.
I like her a lot. Yeah.
She was fucking awesome. His wife was awesome. Bert's actual wife in the movie, I thought she was great. She wasn't on screen a ton, but I thought she was very good in the movie. Even the fucking evil villain dude, like all the brothers, like I liked them all as villains. Like the long-haired guy,
they all seemed like they were in John Wick. Every single one of them.
This was basically John Wick.
Basically,
right?
John
it did
Wick.
feel
but
like
with a
very
funny
John
person
Wick.
being the main character.
And I think Inga was like why do I keep
Arena.
Arena.
Irina.
I felt very John Wick right there when that first thing of her when they're in the casino.
Yes.
And she's kind of off by herself. I was like, we just got John Wicked
We did.
hard. That was gorgeous.
Mark Hamill on drugs was like the funniest part to me too. That as far as his best performance of that movie was when he was just like going all off and swearing and talking about fucking what I forgot what kind of drugs did he do? I don't know. What's that? I don't know. There was a yellow one. And I thought that was pretty freaking
Molly Parton.
Did they at the beginning? I tried to ask you this. Did he call him DJ Chemo?
DJ Chemo? Who? DJ Chemo?
I like that, and I liked when he was about to mouth off to his daughter's friend in the pool, and he goes, Do you have any what core? What did he say? Trash core?
Oh, yeah.
Or he goes, Rachel, I'll go
Because
check.
we all know how bad he could roast that chick.
I know.
Oh yeah, I just hope that I hope a lot. I really do think that this is going to be the #1 movie in the country.
I think it's going to. I think it's got to hit that over this weekend, right?
It has to, and it should. I think it deserves it. It's not an Oscar piece. It's not like we're not going to study this for ages. But is this a Hangover type phenomenon movie where it's just fun and it's just like I think it is, and I could easily see him doing another one. I could see it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
They set him up with the brother. The brother's like, I'm gonna kill you. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I really did enjoy watching this movie. Like you say, I think that it's all the entertainment value that you want out of a good movie to watch with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Have it on, and if you can, you need to see it in theaters. You just have to, because I think it's so worthwhile to see it in theaters.
I think Sean would argue that you should see every movie in a theater.
Well,
yeah. What's your problem?
now this one.
No, this is the only one. Every other movie,
Every
fuck
other
it.
movie,
The
just
Boogeyman,
don't.
fuck it. Watch it on your phone in front of your face.
Exactly. While you're trying to fall asleep in your bed, just do it then. That's when I watch spooky movies. No.
You guys are the part of the problem.
with your phone. With your phone on one notch of volume.
Yep,
and every now and again,
and one notch of brightness
yeah.
too.
And every now and again, you got to do this move. You got to do it where you're like,
because you're sleeping next to your wife and you
And
try
your
not
air-
to wake
yeah,
her.
and
up.
your AirPods
are
are-
dead.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Don't watch The Machine like that.
I'm sure,
Do
like
not.
the director of the Machine, like Peter Tanzio, is just like, oh yeah, the main place I want people to watch my movie is on their phone. Like if he found that, I'd be like, oh yeah, all the blood, sweat, and tears and hard work and
Yeah,
you know
good job.
all the people. Yeah, I almost died making the movie. It's fine.
Right.
You know,
Serbia's rough.
it's great that I'm glad you're just watching it on your phone in your bed. You're probably gonna pass out too.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank God you found that on like some movie free streaming bootleg bullshit website, so that way.
Congrats.
Congrats.
We four-walled theaters for a month, but you can't give us your money. That's fine. That's okay.
God forbid.
Go to the theater.
Go
to
fucking
the
see
theater
it
and watch this
and
movie.
get a Kentucky hot chicken fried sandwich or whatever.
Yeah, get yourself a Nashville hot
Fucking
chicken.
You think you have everything. Music and now you got
look
chicken.
at us. We're Nashville. We make great things.
We have music too.
We got great music and chicken.
And when you come, make sure you buy brand new cowboy boots because you're gonna need it.
Do you have a cowboy hat?
I'm
We
sorry.
do now.
I'm really sorry
We
for
should, The Machine. Go see it.
The Machine.
In fact, if this is the first
Go
time you've
watch
ever
it in
seen us,
Nashville.
I promise this is exactly what you're gonna get. Check us out. Just subscribe. Pick a movie out. If you like what you hear, you're gonna like
Yeah,
what we did there.
100%.
Bert likes us, so I don't know what
There's
that
a lot
means for you.
of movie for fans of us. There's a lot of movie references he drops in the movie. It's really fun. It's
Very
really
true.
fun.
Yeah, when he dropped Kaiser Soze,
Yeah.
That was
I
pretty
about lost
fucking-
my shit. I was like, did he get that? Did he go back and write that joke after he said it with us? Because I feel like he
he
could
did.
have.
I
Oh, he
feel like he
definitely
did
did.
say that he went back and changed a few scenes. So
Yeah, I think we helped, guys. I think we got to go and lobby for our writer credit.
Good night.
play the fucking music. Jesus. Okay. Thanks everybody. We'll see you next
Awesome.
time.
See you guys.
Love you guys.